Welcome to today's live section. Um, First of all, I want you guys to know that I am grateful that I'm grateful that you can always join my live section. I am thankful to God that you all often join this live section, and like I've constantly repeated, um, at this OBICHIS TV, we are trying to grow a very wonderful community across the globe. I mean, a wonderful community with people coming from far and near. And we are promising that we are going to be bringing to you guys quality contents that are quite relatable. So today I thought to go in the direction of motivation. A lot of persons might be like, yeah, motivation. Yeah, it can be a wonderful fuel, but not a very powerful driver. I'm not a very good driver. Some persons argue strongly that motivation is not that important and all of that. But I guarantee you that motivation, as much as it's a good fuel, if you do not have it, if you are not motivated, you might not even have the discipline, which could be the driver. You might not have the discipline that you will need to get to your destination. So today I am trying to look in that direction of, motivation. Like we all need to be motivated. We all need to be motivated. We all need a pat in the back to tell us that, yeah, we are doing a great job, or hey, what we're doing is not going to take us anywhere, right? Something like that. So I want this to be an interactive live section. Um, I'll be checking on the screen. I'll be checking on the screen at some point because I'm using my back camera. At some point I will go over the other side to know if there are questions that I need to attend to. So while we are in this conversation and you make contact with a line that seems a bit vague to you and you might want clarification, you can leave a comment in the comment section while I attend to that question as I go check on those comments. So, welcome to this live today. First of all, as you're joining, if you're joining for the first time, do well to subscribe to this channel. It is your subscription that is going to definitely help us to, achieve our goal of reaching a global audience. Help us by subscribing. As you subscribe, you like the videos. When they resonate with you, you comment on them. You also, if it resonates with you, definitely there are people around you that the video or the content will resonate with you. Can also do us a favor by sharing with these people so that they can make contact with what we're sharing at the Old Beaches TV. So, guys, today, like I've earlier said, I'm going to be looking at that direction of motivation. We need to understand that somehow, there are some persons that take it upon themselves as a responsibility or a business to make sure that you do not pursue your goal, you do not pursue your purpose, or you do not get passionate about what you want to be passionate about. Now, watch this. It's not actually um, a negative intention from them somehow, because most of these people are often our friends, our family members, could be our parents, our brothers, and our sisters. They take it as a business upon themselves to make sure you do not pursue your goals, you do not pursue your passion, yeah. But then how do you get yourself unstuck? How do you get yourself out of this kind of circle? Are you able to sit yourself down and go through what we will refer to as introspection or retrospection, like, go inside yourself, ask yourself some questions. Where you are right now, is it where you really want to be? And is where exactly are you going if you continue with the way you are walking right now, if you continue with the things you're doing right now, what is the chances that it can guarantee you where you really want to be? Have you ever at some point sat down to have such conversations with yourself? Like that is the introspection now. Have you at some point also been able to ask yourself a question like the things you have been experiencing in the time past, the experiences you've had in the time past, and the memories that you are carrying, are they wonderful enough to keep replaying them in your mind and things like that? If they are not as healthy as you expect them to be, I want you to understand that there is a need for you to be motivated to do so. You know, it is Les Brown that said that there are three kinds of people. It says something like this. There are people who are successful, and there are people who are not successful, and that there are also people who do not know how to be successful. Think about that. People who do not know how to be successful. Now, if you are among those who do not know how to be successful, I think we are in this conversation together, and I believe you actually need this conversation that I'm having here today. You see, when we are having a wonderful moment, I mean, when things are going so well around us, I mean, like when things are working as we expected them to work, I mean, it's nobody needs motivation at that point in time. Nobody needs to grow their faith at that point in time. Nobody needs to get anxious, get worried, or get concerned at that point in time. But think about this. What if when things are not actually working as you expected them to work? When things are not going as you expected them to go, you discover that you become a bit concerned, become worried, become anxious, right? Even though we are told not to be anxious for anything, but at that point you become anxious. At that point, you actually need some kind of motivation, a reasonable degree of motivation. Now, this is why we are having this conversation. For those people who has not or who have not actually experienced what success means and how it goes and all of that. So by reason of this conversation, by reason of the motivations that are going to be coming out of this conversation, you can know how to unstop yourself. You can know how to move from point A to point B, from point where you are, from that you really want to get to some destination that will make you feel important. It is Dale Carnegie that said that the greatest craving of every human on earth is the feeling of importance. And I mean, you really want to feel important. And if you do not have some reasonable degree of physical manifestations and, material possession or things that, I mean, if you don't have things that count based on where we are at time, it becomes very difficult to, you know, say that you will feel important. No, you will feel unimportant. You will feel insignificant. You will feel down. You will feel downcasted and the rest of that. So now, for people who are experiencing such phase in their life that I am talking about now, for people that are experiencing such phase in their life, I think it is important you get motivated. It is important you understand that there is more that you could be, that you can be, that you are not, that you have not become yet. It is possible that you can become those things or that person you want to be. It is possible that you can become who you want to be. It is possible. It is possible. Now, for you to actually tap into that dimension, I mean, a lot of work need to be put in place. Now, one of the major problem we have is there's what we call a myriad of information. Like, how do I put it now? Um, there are countless number of experts out there, motivational speakers out there, preachers out there, ministers out there, those who are additional like quality informations here and there on what you need to do and what you don't need to do, what part you need to follow and what part you don't need to follow, the patterns that are working and the patterns that are not working, the dimensions you need to operate in and the dimensions you don't need to operate in. These are things you will continue to hear by the day. The moment you pick up your gadgets or the moment you tune in on any television channel, you are hearing the things you need to do and the things you don't need to do. Most of these don't align with the things you are currently doing. Now, that begs the question, what exactly do I need to do? What exactly should I do for me to experience the things I really want to experience, the things that I'm yet to experience? What are the things that I need to do to get myself unstuck, to get myself out of this place of nothingness, this place of confusion, this place of complications, anxiety, anxiousness, and the rest of it? What is this one thing that I need to do? Listen to these guys. First of all, you need to stay motivated. Like you need, there's something that need to well, there's something that needs to come from within you to remind you that yes, you can actually move from point zero to point to another point. There is something that need to communicate that from the depth of your soul. There is something that is something that should spring from within you. It's not something, I mean, like it's something that should spring from within you, from how do I express this now? You must be I mean that's knowing, that awakening should happen within you. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So if you at a point where you are finding it difficult to make contact with that well, let me use this word for lack of a better lexicon, where you are still yet to tap into the madness of pursuit of your essence, pursuit of your purpose, pursuit of your identity, pursuit of your own core assignment. If you are yet to make contact with that degree of passion, hey, let me tell you what I did when I was at that phase in my life. If you're at that phase, I think you need to make contact with people like Les Brown. Now, I am sharing this with you based on my own experiences. Based on my own experiences. The thing is that I made contact with that gave me a paradigm shift. You need a paradigm shift. If you are stuck at a particular position, you need a paradigm shift. You need something that will remind you that you are made of more. You need someone or some persons that will speak into your super consciousness and you will awaken, like you will awaken and you will see the world from a completely different perspective. Because think about this, the your views, your understanding, your perception of the world today is based on the experiences you may have had in the time past or the exposures you may have had in the time past. And the much you have had is not all there is. There is still more that you are yet to make contact with. Now, when I made a comment earlier that there is myriad of information pouring on the internet, on television set, and the rest of it. And by the day that we are finding difficult to choose which one to run with. Now, I'm trying to, give you information based on the kind of people, the kind of things I made contact with that kept me in alignment with pursuit of purpose. Now, you see, at some point in my life, I was a bit stuck. What would I even say a bit stuck? I was completely stuck. I was stuck and I didn't even know which direction to take and what to do next and how to do it and the rest of it. And I don't even know if I am actually sitting in the right position as I am having this conversation. I should have actually brought my laptop so that I can catch up with where I am sitting. I'm in my sitting position. Guys, you have just a minute. Let me catch up with where I am. Sorry for that interruption. I just need to know that I told you guys earlier that I'm using my back camera. So I'm using my back camera, so I'm not seeing myself in the screen. I don't know my positioning. If you guys can actually see me, or if you can hear me pretty clear. So I'm trying to hold my laptop so I can know if I am sitting in the right position, if I'm in the middle of the camera, and if you guys can hear me clearly. So, guys, like I said earlier, while we are setting up, we are still having, we'll keep having these kinds of conversations by the day, pending when our studio, our shelf, our podcast setup will be ready. While we wait for all of that, we are definitely going to be having conversations by the day to see where we can get and how many people that gets to come on board. I've constantly said it that we are trying our best to build a wonderful community where we can help each other tap into something meaningful, where we can help each other tap into growth, where we can help each other tap into a meaningful and impactful life, a purpose driven life, and intentional living. Okay, okay. I need to be sure that this screen. Oh, some person said hi. Oh my God. To be sure. I have to drop this volume. Some persons. Oh wow, this is pretty clear. This is pretty clear. Good. I subscribe. Oh, this Cap Law subscribe. Thank you for subscribing. Felix Chinedu. Felix Chinedu 80 said hi. Hello, Felix. Welcome on board. Thank you for joining this live section today. Um, Pablo Villoria, how are you doing? And thank you for joining my live today. Please, while you are on this live, do well to subscribe, do well to comment on our video, do well to leave a comment on this live, on this top, I mean, like on the top right, we see top chat. Please do well to leave a comment there. You can ask me a question. Like you have heard, I am trying to talk about why you need to stay motivated, why you need to stay motivated, why you need to stay hungry, why you need to stay hungry um in pursuit of meaning, in pursuit of life of meaning. So if you are on this live, if you have joined this live, please do well to subscribe. And if you have subscribed, please leave a comment. You can ask a question on the comment section. I actually took some notes I actually took some notes in preparation of this live today because like this is something I'm going to be doing on a daily because I've taken upon myself to be streaming on a daily while we build these platforms. It is a journey. It is a journey that starts with you. It's a journey that starts with you. Without you, I guarantee we are not going anywhere. So, as you are joining, please do well to subscribe and also like our videos. Subscribe and like our videos. If you check out the way YouTube is wired, the way it is programmed at the top right while you are live, there is a column where you can be, liking and dropping some emojis and leaving some comments. Please, you go ahead and do all those activities because it's definitely going to help us go very far. Thank you for subscribing. Those of you that are subscribed, thank you. I do sincerely appreciate it. Welcome to the OBICHIS. Okay. So guys, okay, I was saying something that we behave and react based on our past experiences and exposures. We behave and react based on our past experiences and exposures. Now, in most cases, where these past experiences, exposures, and memories has brought us is really not where we want to be. They are not, in most cases, not where we want to be, which begs that we do something new, which begs that we tilt in a different direction. Now, that tilting in a different direction begs that we have a different kind of information, a different kind of ideology, because without a brand new ideology, a brand new information, a brand new way of doing things, we are simply stuck. We are simply stuck. So The idea of tapping into motivation is to get unstuck from wherever we may have been. Getting unstuck is, first of all, you get the fuel. I mean, if we are going to loosely interpret our motivation to be a good fuel, but not a good driver, but I want you to understand that without that fuel in the first place, you don't even need a driver. Okay, that motivation is something you need. Okay, earlier before I went to get the PC so I can see where I'm sitting in front of the camera, I was trying to mention those people I made contact with that helped me stay aligned in pursuit of purpose, that's helped me move from point zero to where I am currently. It is where I am currently is a very huge testimony for me, right? Yeah, this is not where I was 5 years ago. Sometimes when you meet people, when you meet motivational speakers, psychologists, therapists, preachers, and yeah, one of the questions you might get is, where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And it has always been very easy for us to say something like, I see myself traveling nations, I see myself married, I see myself in my house, I see myself driving my car, I see myself running a business, I see myself as an entrepreneur, I see myself as this. I mean, we go ahead and make all these, claims, and yeah, most of which we pursue and we, achieve. Because I mean, if you can conceive it, believe it, you can achieve it. If you can conceive it, believe it, you can achieve it. It is all about determination. But before you conceive it, you need motivation. When you are motivated, you can conceive. And when you conceive, I think that is when you will be needing the discipline to, bring to fruition what you have conceived. That is when you can bet what you have conceived, right? So now, which is the discipline aspect of it. But before then, like, I am seriously on the concept of motivation. We all need to be motivated. We all need to be motivated. Someone who is operating at a place of success don't need motivation, but someone who is stuck need motivation. You need motivation. So when I was stuck, when I was stuck at some point in my life that I really, really needed to stay motivated, I made contact with the likes of Les Brown. I made contact with someone like Dr. Miles Monroe of Blessed Memory. Take note of these names I'm mentioning. They are very powerful personalities that you can make contact with and your life will turn a complete 360. I made contact with Bishop David Oyedepo of Living Faith Church, aka Winners Chapel. I made contact with someone like Myron Gold. I also made contact with Jordan B. Peterson. Jordan B. Peterson. Yes, these are the few men I made contact with that rewired the trajectory of my life. Pay attention to that. I made contact with these few people. I mentioned Les Brown. I've also read, if you have not read the book, You've Got to Be Hungry by Les Brown. It's a book you need to read. You've Got to Be Hungry by Les Brown. That book will set you on a footing that you will never regret. I think it was that same book that made me to finish writing my first book, Kingdom Colonization Redefined. It was a particular chapter in that book that Les Brown said something like, if you are reading this book and you have something unfinished, let's, for example, a book you are writing that you are yet to finish, then you should drop this book right now and go to that book and finish it immediately. Yeah, You've Got to Be Hungry by Les Brown. That was the book I read. I stopped at that particular page and went to and ran to ran back to the unfinished project and made sure I finished that book. Um, it's yet to hit the market, but it's edited by a professional editor, and the ISBN number, everything or everything concerning that book is ready, but yet to hit the market. Yes, yet to hit the market. So, guys, so I mentioned Les Brown, Dr. Miles Monroe of blessed memory, um, Bishop David Liverpool of Living Faith, aka Winners Chapel, Myron Golding, and Jordan B. Peterson. These are the five guys that I made contact with, and they completely rewired the trajectory of my life in the positive direction. And the positive direction, because where I am today is a manifestation of those of the rewiring. Yeah, that's the manifestation of the rewiring. This is like 5 years after I made contact with this man. 5 years after I made contact with this man, that's I am sitting before you guys now to make a bold claim that by reason of combining what those guys has to offer, you are definitely going to come to a place of meaning, a place of success, if you might, reduce it to that word. So, guys, you see, each and every one of these persons I have mentioned to you guys had a role they played. Each of them had a role they played in my life. Each of them had a role they played in my life. Um, are we together? If you are just joining, like I said, if you are just joining, make sure you subscribe to the OBICHIS. Make sure you leave a comment, like our videos. Those activities help us a lot. This conversation is not like, it's not a lecture. It's not. It's not a lecture. I'm not trying to teach you. I'm not trying to um, put myself in a place where I am going to advise you. No, that's not it. This is a conversation between you and myself based on the experiences I've had and how where these experiences has brought me, and you know knowing that if we can bring me to this place, for everyone that is listening to me, it can also bring you to a place of meaning. My PC battery is low. I have to shut down my PC, but I've confirmed that I'm sitting on the right position so that I hope this doesn't distract this conversation. To shut down. It's cracking. Okay, guys. Now, checking on the nose. Anyone can feel good when things are working well. I mean, like when things are working well, you're always gonna feel good, and you don't need motivation, do you? You don't. Everyone preaches faith when things are working, but how do you handle the down moments? I mean, there's always a time when things are going so well in your life that, I mean, you begin to wonder if there are actually people going through difficulties, right? There are times when when things are going so well with you, and there are some other times when things get a bit, difficult, a bit confusing, when life seems to be foggy, when life seems to, you know, present to you some smoke screen. Now, at this point, what do you need? You need motivation. At this point, like, how do you know, clear the air? Yeah, you need people who has gone through that phase before you and was able to, navigate. You need people like that, because I tell you, there's no challenge you are going through right now that someone somewhere has not gone through. I mean, there's no phase you are going through right now that someone somewhere has not experienced. Now, the only thing that you will be needing to do is to, you know, look up this kind of people that has had such an experience. How did they navigate it? Put yourself in that same um position and you know hit it so hard and pull through. Yeah, I mean, life presents itself to us differently, and it also happens phase by phase, um, which is basically low moments and wonderful moments, right? So in those low moments, which is often the times we begin to seek for a way out, who and what are the kinds of informations that we need at this point in time? Who who we listen to at a time like this matters the most. I said something earlier. Okay, scrap that. Look at this. If you are going through a difficult phase, a confusing a confusing phase in your life, and you continue to listen to people who are also going through a confusing phase and a disturbing phase, automatically you guys are going to be in the same manifestation phase, which is complications, confusions, and most fundamentally extreme depression. You don't want to do that. You don't want to get depressed. You don't want to get depressed. You don't. You really don't want to get depressed. And if you don't want to get depressed, I mean, you need to you need to rewire your mindset because people have said this, and I think they can. No one has been able to say it better than the person that put it that the battle of life is won and lost in the human mind. To get ourselves on stock, to win the battle of the mind, simply necessitates we plant quality informations in our mind. And that's simply what it means. You see, scripturally, it is written that it said, "Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind." Now, being renewed, the renewal of our mind here is, I mean, the mind doesn't consume any other thing than words, ideas, sentences. Like your mind, your mind feeds on ideas, on informations, right? I've said this to a few friends, and they've been able to, confirm what I'm trying to communicate to them. That if you are a person who listens to CNN every day of your life, you will discover that you will be a person of a very, very negative mindset because you're always seeing war in Gaza, war in Afghanistan, war in Iraq, war in Iran, bomb blast this, bomb blast that, one terrorist attack and the other, things like that. So it's always one negative uprising or another. So by reason of consuming things like that, by reason of taking in such negative occurrences and happenstances, you discover that you become a person of a very, very negative thought process. You always find yourself thinking that the world is coming to an end and things are going bad and everything is not working well and all of that. But there are also other people who are feeding their mind with informations that are strongly, standing on the positive direction. Some persons who are loading informations that are uh, positively oriented, right? You discover that those people, life happens to them in a way that is different. I mean, they see positivity in everything. They see possibility in every challenge. Like the way you look at challenges and, find it difficult to navigate. It's not the way these people see life. You see, so when you hear that the battle of life is won and lost in the human mind, what it is actually trying to communicate is that what you consume by the day, what you take in, your impression will determine your expression. It is the same as the computer language we say garbage in, garbage out, input, output, right? So if you are stuck, you may have limited yourself to informations that are not going to take you to where you can possibly get to. That begs that you listen to the right information. That begs that you begin to retool, recalibrate your psyche. You begin to, seek for informations that can actually take you to where you are going. It's a must. It's something that you must do. It's something that you must do. Motivation is non-negotiable. Long, you see, we I also understand that we have reduced motivation I mean, by reason of the nature or by reason of some portrayals of certain motivational speakers, we look at motivation as something unimportant. Please don't go and, underrate the power of motivation. Don't do that. Don't underrate the power of motivation. Regardless of how um, many persons that has reduced motivational speaking to, something to business. Yeah. Regardless of how many people that has reduced motivational speaking to, a business in its entirety, do not play down or do not underestimate the power of motivation. Don't you ever underestimate the power of motivation. You need to stay motivated. You need to stay motivated. You don't want to be demotivated. You don't want to stay down. You don't want to stay down. You need to wake up every day believing that today you are going to conquer, believing that today you are going to attain another height. Today you are going to, make things happen. Today you are stepping into a completely new phase. Today, you are meeting new people. Today, you are, tapping into a higher dimension in your thought processes. You need to always have that kind of mindset every day you wake up. You don't need to you don't want to wake up down. You don't want to wake up asking yourself, what am I going to do today? Why should I even why in fact what happened like why should I believe that today will be better? No, you don't want to wake up like that. You want to wake up every day believing that it is going to be a super fantastic day. You need to wake up every day believing that, what you couldn't achieve yesterday, today, you are stepping into it. Today, you are conquering it. Look at this, guys. Yesterday, I tried, I have about four YouTube channels, two of which are in thousands of subscribers. This particular channel is the channel that we are working so very hard to build the most powerful community with. Now look at this. I went live yesterday. I went live yesterday. Uh I'm not sure. Okay, I think one of the live lasted for 18 minutes or so and no one joined. For 18 minutes and no one joined. What should I have done today? Not going live again? Or thinking that going live again today doesn't really make sense because people are not joining? No, no, no. That's not the spirit. That's not how it works. It's, you need to be so super motivated within you that you do not believe in impossibilities. I didn't say that there are no impossibilities. I didn't say that. You need to be super, super motivated that you don't see any brick wall in front of you. You need to be super motivated that you don't see anything hindering you. You need to be super motivated that you see yourself to be unstoppable. Do you understand that? That is the level of motivation you need. Now, someone goes live on YouTube or any other platform and doesn't have people joining their live section, and you conclude that it is not possible to build platform. Excuse me. There are people who started just like you. In most cases, they even there are so many stories you will hear about growing an online platform where people tried for months, weeks, years, and it was as though nothing was happening. But they continued. They continued. Like they were consistent, they were persistent, they were arrogant. Like they persevered until they broke through, right? So the level of motivation you need to keep you going when things don't seem to be working is the peak of motivation. And that is what each and every one of us need. Yes. Now, look at this, guys. The OBICHIS TV is a new YouTube channel with the goal of hitting millions of subscribers. That's a journey of million miles, right? Or you start with one subscriber, 2, 5, 10, 50, 100, 200, up to 1,000. From 1,000, we are going to 10,000 to 50 to 100,000 to the millions. It's a process. It's not going to happen in a day. Think about this, guys. Just as I came online now and I'm able to gain 100,000 subscribers in one live, where is the growth process? I will find it difficult to feed this audience. I will find it difficult to, measure, or I will find it difficult to present a value. I'll find it difficult to, serve this great audience what will actually keep them in this channel. But watch this. When we grow as a community, which is going to happen within days, weeks, months, years. When we grow as a community, we become so, connected that it will be so easy for me, you know, to feed those that grew with me. I don't know if that makes sense. It's a process. It's a process, but the motivation needed to keep up with that journey, to keep up with the process. The motivation needed to do that is something you and I need, like we need food. It's something that you and I need, like we need water. It's something that you and I cannot play with. We need that motivation to keep going. Okay. So there's this saying by Les Brown. He said something like this. He said, insanity is doing the same thing over and expecting a different result. Did you just hear what I said? He said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting the same result. Now, if someone is stuck on a particular position, if someone is stuck on a particular position or at a particular phase in life, that is as a result of what they have been doing in the time past. Now, if this person wants to have a completely different result, they are expected to do things differently. They are expected to do things differently. Um, and for you to do things differently, because look at these guys, it's almost difficult for a lot of persons to accept the fact that we do not control our mind, rather, our mind controls us. We do not possess our mind possesses us. What do I mean by this? When Let me give you a relatable illustration. You might be needing to make purchases of some material things as we speak. You might be needing to make purchases of material things, but you do not have the financial capability to do that. Now think about this. The moment a certain amount of money gets to you, the moment a certain of money gets to you, like is deposited into your account, you will discover that you will sit up to go and make such purchases. Now, the simple question here now is this: between you and the money that got deposited into your account, between you and the money that got deposited into your account, who controlled each other? Who made each other to move? You or the money? You discover that it's actually the money that made you to step up or step out. Cool. Now, that is the same way it happens in our mind. You are at a particular position. You want to get to another, you want to get to a certain destination. Now, what kept you in that particular present position is the informations and ideas you are currently operating with. Now, for you to hit a different destination, you need completely new ideas. That's what it means. Now, the moment a complete new idea hits you, completely new idea, you move from that position to a different destination. It is not you who will look at this. It is the impression, it is the idea that you embodied that will change the trajectory of your life. It's not something that's it's not something that happens out of whims. It's not something that happens out of what would I call it now? It's not something that happens out of wish or whims. No, it's not even something that you bring yourself out of. No, you must be intentional. You must be hungry. You must be craving. You must be, you know, seeking. And when we say seeking, I mean, just like it is said scripturally that when you knock the door open, when you seek, you shall find. Uh, when you ask, you get answer. You've got to ask, you've got to knock, you've got to seek. And I believe when we seek, we will always find. I mean, um, it's in this conversation, I have constantly used myself as a practical example. I was at a phase in my life where I needed to, make a shift. Like I needed something better. I needed a completely new experience, a completely new life, I needed to get unstuck because I felt at that point in time I was stuck. And I was. Yeah, I was. So I decided to start seeking, which is what led me to those five persons I mentioned to you. Now, these five persons I mentioned to you, they are just like, five in the midst of millions of others who can also deliver such quality information they deliver to me. Yeah, I mean, there are countless of people out there who are projecting beautiful and wonderful ideologies that are, potent, that are working. I'm not disputing that. Now, I am giving you guys the people that help me rewire the trajectory of my life, and I'm enjoying it. Like I'm enjoying where they have helped me get to, and also enjoying where they can help me get to, where they can help me get to while I continue in the process, because it is a process. It is a process. You see, what we often fight with is the law of process. What we often fight with is the law of process. I was in a conversation with a friend of mine. I was in a conversation with a friend of mine the other day, and I told him that one of the major problems that we have when it comes to these people that are motivating us, when it comes to these people that are leading us, when it comes to these people that we look up to as our role models, one of the major problems we have with them is that in most cases we try to we try to manifest we try to manifest their present state. Pay attention so you understand what I'm trying to say. Um, when you listen to any of your role models, most of them try to communicate from a place of certainty. Now, communicating from that place of certainty is something like out of their own personal experience, out of their own journey, out of their own following the law of process. Some of them are either 30 years in the journey, 40 years in the journey, 45 years in, some are up to 50 years in their journey of, pursuing purpose and living a meaningful life. Now, when we make contact with them and they start teaching us, you know, you might you might be tempted, to try manifesting what they are manifesting currently. Everybody can be I mean, it happens to the best of us. It happens to the best of us. We are easily tempted to operate in that dimension. But that's not the case. Think about this. That person that is motivating you, that is teaching you the principles that you need to apply and come to a place of meaningful lifestyle, has possibly followed a path for, could be decades, could be decades. Now, you make contact with them, you want to manifest what they are manifesting, like right now. No, 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 no. You must obey the law of process. You must obey the law of process. You must go through the pain, the failures, the down moments, and all of that. You will go through all of that. You will go through all of that before you can see yourself manifesting what they are manifesting currently. So you don't want to be a victim of this thing that I'm just trying to explain now. Because a lot of persons are victims of it. And when you become a victim of something like that, you will have a problem. And that problem is the problem of wanting to quit, wanting to give up, and yeah, you don't want to quit. You don't want to have that thought of giving up, that suicidal thought and the rest of it. You don't want to go into that. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. So when you make contact with anybody that you feel is motivating, when you make contact with anyone you feel is guiding you with the right principles, with the right patterns that can help you, come to a place of fulfillment of purpose, that can help you come to a place of living a life of meaning. I want you to like sit down, think it through, understand that these people that you're looking up to went through the law of process. It actually took them time, sacrifice, pain, failure before they got to where they are. So you are not just going to, start manifesting what they are manifesting in the present. It's not possible. It's not possible. It's not possible. I mean, look at for take myself for an example. I I made contact with these five people I mentioned to you guys. Dimas Monroe, Myron Golden, Jordan B. Peterson, Bishop David Oyedepo, and Les Brown. I made contact with these guys 5 years ago. 5 years ago that I made contact with them, they sent me they sent me into a place of wilderness, into a place of solitary, into a place of self-discovery, into a place of rewiring of my mindset. That's actually where they sent me to. So, you know, the the first the first 3 years after making contact with them was completely devoted to studies. Was completely devoted to studies. I mean, these are conversations we are going to be having in this channel over and over, like so that you guys understand this whole law of process thing. Like you must work on your mindset. Like when we are talking of mindset here, we are talking of on learning. We are talking of, if it is possible to use the word, discarding junk ideologies that we have been fed over the years by persons that didn't even know where they are going and where they are coming from. Most of the informations we have are coming from people who don't even know who they are, where they are going, where they are coming from, and even they don't even know where they are currently. Most of these informations that we are working with are coming from people like that. So, you will need now. See, there's a difference between an adult making contact with a potent idea and a child making contact with a potent idea. If you are an adult, remember that every adult is right. And you may have accumulated informations like, say, when I say an adult, use from 18 years upwards, and let's say you are at your late 20s or early 30s before you make contact with quality ideas that can actually change your life. I want you to know that before those ideas will have roots in your mind to start guiding you in the path of truth and manifestation, you will have to decolonize your mind. You will have to, like, you know, what's the right way to present this now? You've got to download all the principles that are guiding that idea that you make contact with. You need to, have a firm foundation in that idea. You need to build a structure in that new ideology. You need to do all of that so that it can begin to automate your being. Because look at this, we are constantly moved around and automated by the things we have embodied over the years. So, for an adult who has accumulated a lot of information, virtually everything you are told to do today, or virtually everything you are hearing today, you have your own way of going about it. Now, your own way of going about it, remember, is something. Your own way of going about it is a way you collected from your past experiences that didn't even serve you right. So you see that for you to manifest this new ideology, you have to go and you must change those patterns that you have been working with. You have to change all of them. And changing those patterns is like you unlearning, like deleting if it is possible. Like it's just like the memory banks of our phones, our gadgets. Sometimes when you want to put in a new information, we want to download something new in your gadget, in your system, in your phone, or something like that. It tells you that the space is filled up. You've got to delete some things before you can install the new softwares or whatsoever. Now, liking the idea to be like a software that you need to install in your operating system, that is your mind or your brain or whichever way you might interpret it. Now, automatically, you've got to delete so many things. So many of these things that you're about to delete are the things you have been holding dear, you have been holding strong, that you strongly believe that you have been working with, and all of that. These are the things you are about to lose. So, you see, the first 3 years was for deleting and installation, deleting and installation, deleting and installation, deleting and installation. So many of those things that you are going to, or we are going to delete, are things that when you actually understand the things you are making contact with in the recent times, for those that are seeking, you will hardly believe that you actually accepted those things in the first place. Something like that. Now, I say something that there's a difference between an adult making contact with a potent idea and a child making contact with a potent idea. Now, there is a reason why the scripture said that the kingdom of God belongs to little children. Yeah, there's a reason for that. And that if you want to access the kingdom of God, you need to become like a little child. You need to become like a child. There's a reason for all of that. Now, one of the major reasons is this: a child's mind is like, I don't want to use the word tabula rasa, because clinical psychologists has been able to debunk that there is no such thing as a tabula rasa. So there are a lot of things we came with when we were born. Yeah, okay, cool. So as a child, you are like a brand new computer, a brand new computer, a brand new operating system that doesn't have softwares to work with. Now, whatever software is planted in that OS, that's what it will work with. So if it is a child, a brand new OS, any information you are installing, that's what is resting on the operating system. And that's what the child is working. That's what the child is doing. It said that if you train a child in the way of the Lord, when they grow, they don't depart from it. That's to tell you that their mindset is empty, their brain is empty, their mind is empty, like empty in some reasonable degree. That whatever you plant there grows, right? But for an adult, my God, that's like a forest. That's like a very thick forest. That's before there is any such thing as planting new trees there, there has to be an deforestation. Before there will be an afforestation, there must be a deforestation. You must cut down the overgrown trees that will overshadow the little ones from seeing the sunlight. You must cut them down. You must cut them down. You must cut them down. And cutting them down is you sitting down and taking in the new seeds by plant you, just like a seed is planted, just like a seed is planted on a soil, right? And you don't want to go and plant a seed in a soil that is not fertile. You don't want to do that. Or in a soil that is still competitive, or in a soil or in an environment that is, you don't want to go and plant a seed in a place that is shaded by other trees. No, you don't want to do that. You want to first of all cut down the trees, check the fertility of the soil before you plant a new seed. So if you think you can just go grab a seed and throw it into somewhere and expect it to flourish, you're making a mistake, my brother, my sister. So there is need, we first of all overhaul, clean our mind, fertilize our mind, renew our mind. The scriptures is not joking when they say there is a place of renewal of the mind. You can't